Hi everyone, hello and welcome back to week 2 of our weekly check-ins of January, or whichever month that you're practicing with me in. Today we're going to keep it super slow, super soft, very close to the ground, so the perfect Sunday evening practice, somewhere between a yin and a slow flow. So I'd recommend getting yourselves cozy. I'm keeping warm with my jumper, grabbing a couple of blocks, maybe a cushion or a bolster if you have anything close by, but you can do the whole practice without. And we're just gonna bring the bolster or our cushion to run vertically up our mat to begin with, and bring the tailbone towards the base of the bolster, plant the soles of the feet, bend the knees up towards the sky, and just slowly start to release your back body onto the bolster or onto your cushions. Equally, you can use some blocks and you can pop some blankets on top just to soften. And then either keeping the knees up, you can knock them towards one another, or you can reach the legs and extend towards the far corners of the mat. So just finding a place to drop into, release the feet away from one another, spread the arms wide, take up space. Taking a deep breath and sighing out the mouth, exhale. And I often find it incredible how much information is held within that first breath of practice. Almost like all these things, all these messages and signals that we've been ignoring or pushing to one side throughout our week, all kind of comes to the surface in that one breath. And gives ourselves that signal, that permission to be present in this space, to claim this moment, to check in and just explore and venture into what is laying beneath the surface of our mind, of our body, what is being held, and what we choose to leave at one side today. And as you melt into this shape, can you let the upper body be heavy? Noticing how it feels to be held by the earth beneath you. Sense of stability and support, of roots, of foundation, paired with this expansiveness from above. Sense of openness, sense of infinite possibility and space. And noticing how it lands to sit between those two juxtapositions. Maybe it's a visual idea that comes to mind. Maybe it's a feeling in the body that arises. And perhaps it's something completely different. And with our next breath in, can you start to lengthen the arms past the ears, interlace the hands, flip the palms away from you, take a full body stretch. You might even connect the thighs a little closer together, point into the toes, and breathe length into the body. As you exhale, circle the arms out and wide, and then start to hug either hand to opposite shoulder. So like you're giving yourself a big hug. Maybe you pause here and you just take some circles from left to right, maybe some figure eights, just moving into the subtle sensations of the shoulders. Or perhaps you start to find an eagle bind, bringing the backs of the forearms together, or the hands can connect, and just doing the same thing. So some figure of eights, taking it one way and then the other. And taking one more breath in these fluid movements. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's cactus the arms out towards the side. Take a moment to release. Bringing it back through center. So notice which way is your dominant way. Let's take it the other way. So whichever way you didn't go last time. Taking a bind of the shoulders again. Maybe here is where you paused and took your movements. Or maybe the backs of the forearms come to meet. Maybe the fronts of the palms. And then from here, start to take equal movements, left to right. Make sure you do both sides. One more breath in movement. And exhale. Cactus the arms out and wide, take an inhale. And as you exhale, you're just going to slowly peel yourself off of your bolster. Roll your bolster or your pillow out the way without disturbing yourself too much, and then land onto your back bodies. And you can put the soles of the feet down towards the ground, find a nice neutral spine, and then start to pick up the feet, the shins, and start to curl the forehead towards the knees. Returning onto your back body, you're going to keep the right knee in with you, and you're going to thread the left knee underneath the right. We're going to go to shoelace pose or Gomukhasana supine. So from here, you can reach for the feet, just check that the knees are roughly stacked on top of one another, and then start to wing the feet out in opposite directions, keeping the thighs contracting towards one another. So here, the higher you go with the feet, the more you might feel it into the outer glutes. You can soften this by drawing the heels a little bit closer towards the bottom. If this feels uncomfortable or if the knees are not liking it, you can figure four the right ankle over the left thigh and take an interlace behind the left thigh instead and start to squeeze the left knee in towards center line. I'm going to go for shoelace today. So choosing your expression, choosing the moment that you choose to pause. There are so many sensations to be felt between all of the movements. So maybe just exploring that space in between. And then once you start to arrive in a place that needs a little bit more attention, a little bit more breath, that is where you start to pause. Wherever you are, can you think about lengthening the tailbone down towards the ground, as though you're imprinting the spine into the space beneath you? So connecting with that downward energy, the support from the earth beneath you, we really root down through sacrum. We root down through the mid-spine, the tops of the shoulders and the back of the head. But there's a sense of lift and expansion in the legs and the hands and the feet. A sense of lifting the knees up and away from the earth beneath us. Can we meet between these two? Taking one more breath here, inhale. As you exhale, you're just going to release the left foot down towards the floor, plant the sole of the foot, and you're going to draw the right knee in towards the right armpit and find your way to a half happy baby. The left hand is going to meet on top of the left hip. And then you're going to start to draw that right knee down towards the ground. Just notice as you start to pivot onto that right glute. It's totally fine. You might choose to stay here, or you might choose to lengthen that left leg away. Keep flexing through that left foot. And I just like to keep my left hand on top of the left hip to maintain that connection downwards. If you feel like you want more, you might start to lengthen the right leg. Extend into the back of the knee and pause here. If it feels a bit hard to reach the foot, you can fetch a piece of clothing to bind around the arch. There's a little arm extension if you like. Continue to breathe for 2 rounds of breath. Beautiful. Start to travel back through center. From here, the right knee is going to cross over body and taking it into a supine twist. So the left hand can connect to right knee, cactus the right arm and drop your gaze. If you like, the left hand can reach towards the outer right foot and you can start to re-extend that leg. Maybe even left foot starts to be fed in towards the right hand and you can find your cat's tail variation of your supine twist. You can either do either of those options for a few breaths each as you just navigate which one is feeling most in alignment with you today, the one that is being asked of by your body. Let's go for one more breath. And exhale fully. Nice, everyone. Let's travel back through center, take an inhale. Land the soles of the feet down towards the ground as you exhale. Let's bring a bind of the elbows up and over the head. And from here, just start to peel the hips away from the ground. Lift through the glutes. We inhale fully. As you exhale, release back and down towards the ground. Let's just windmill the legs from side to side, left to right, dropping to one side followed by the other. Just finding a little bit of mobility into the hip space, as here is where we're focusing today. And exhale, one more each side. And to the right. Let's travel back through center, take an inhale. From here, you're going to thread the right knee underneath the left. Find your way to your shoelace pose on the other side again, or to your figure four. If you're going to your figure four, the left ankle's crossing the right thigh. Shoelaces, this might feel very different one side to the other. It certainly does for me. There is definitely a lot more restriction and fight in this side of my body, I would say. So maybe your variation actually looks slightly different. Maybe there's slightly different level of depth. Maybe parts of the body need to be reconfigured to make it work. That is absolutely fine. And as you pause here and things start to change, maybe as does your variation, I'm just going to lift my feet a little bit higher to move the sensation into a new place. Though these positions are on the ground, they are challenging. And there's always an unfamiliar space that we can choose to explore. Or maybe today we're keeping it as we want. We're not exploring newness, just keep it where it feels comfortable. 2 breaths. And exhale, sigh it out. Wonderful, everyone. Release the right foot down towards the ground. You're going to feed the left foot into the left hand. Lower the tailbone, right hand connects with right hip. Can you draw the right knee in through center? Just notice if it starts to wing out towards the right. And then actively start to compress the left knee towards the left armpit. If there is space to do so, you can extend through the right leg. For me, that just kind of wakes up that right hip flexor a little bit more. And then if you are ready to, you can start to extend the left leg. Holding for a full inhale. And seamlessly moving into an exhale. Travel that leg back through center. Cross it over the body, supine twist, choosing your variation again. Or maybe the variation just changes as you pause here. I'm going to go for a cat tail, so right hand to left foot, and right foot to left hand. Let's hold for 1. And exhale fully. Start to arrive back through center. Take an inhale. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a big squeeze as you exhale. Let's just cross the ankles. Roll up through the spine. Land the hands out ahead. Send the knees back. And you're going to melt the heart forward into Anahatasana, melting heart pose. So taking a moment just to settle into the palms, making contact downwards with knees, tops of feet, but then meeting the sense of expansiveness through the front body. Allow the forehead to drop down towards the mat, or maybe you're practicing on your bed. And surrendering to the shape. How much weight can you put into the top of the body? Notice gravity doing the work. On your next breath in, you're going to gaze forward, wave through the spine slowly, make the movement considered. Keep pressing into the hands as you tuck the tailbone under. Draw the ribs towards the hips, keep the arms long, and slowly release the hips down towards the ground. So you're in a high sphinx here. You might stay here, wrapping the elbows towards one another, pressing down into the palms. If this is too deep into the lower back, you can drop onto the forearms, travel forward a little bit, and you can pause here. So wherever you're choosing to be, let's take a breath in together, inhale. As you exhale, drop the chin down towards the chest. Start to lift your gaze over towards the right shoulder, breathe in. Exhale, travel back through center. To the other side, we inhale, gaze to left. Through center, soften, lengthen the back of the neck. To the right, we inhale. To the left, we inhale. And exhale. Let's pause at the bottom of this movement, finding as much length as we can into the back of the neck. Notice how it can release just by simply letting the head hang. Keep drawing the shoulders down the back body. Keep wrapping the shoulders towards one another as well, the shoulder blades, as though the shoulder blades are trying to meet through center, hugging in towards the spine. With every breath, can the chin draw a little closer towards the chest? Let's go for one more inhale. And exhale. Start to lift as though you're being pulled up by the back of the neck, like the scruff. You know when you pick up a puppy? Like that. Lift your gaze towards the sky. And then exhale, melt the heart down towards the ground. From here, let's cactus the right arm. Take it wide. You can either cactus or take it all the way long, so sort of towards 2 o'clock if it was a clock. Come to fingertips. Drag that left hand a little closer towards the ribs. Peel the left foot up and over and start to find space into the front of the chest. And you can drop the head down towards the ground here and pause. Or you can bring the left hand towards the left thigh. Maybe there's a variation here. Maybe you bring the toes to touch, so you're kind of in a little clam shape. So I find this one a bit more intense if my arm is long. Actually, no, it's intense both ways. You can explore. Find a space between cactus and a long arm. So you can just have a nice soft bend into the elbow. Let's take one more breath. And we're going to exhale, release through center. Drop the fingertips outside the mat. Pull yourself up by the scruff of the neck again. Take an inhale. Exhale, wave it back down, release. Either cactusing left arm or walk it out long and wide, or somewhere in between the two. Right foot is going to peel up and open. Find your way there. And then maybe you start to reach and extend right hand to right thigh. Maybe you connect the toes together. Pausing one breath. And exhale. Travel back the way you came. The right hand lands far and wide. We know where we're going. We peel the heart high. Take an inhale. Pull up by the scruff of the neck, vertebra by vertebra. We exhale and lower. Bring the hands by the side of the body. Take the knees wide. Take it back to a child's pose, but tuck the toes here. Just start to find some sensation into the toes, into the feet. Take the knees as wide or as narrow as feels comfortable. And from here, start to lift the hips. Find a downward facing dog. We're not going to be here for long. We're keeping it soft and close to the ground. But just as we make our way forward, we're going to land the feet behind the wrists and take a ragdoll forward fold. So whatever feels good here, take a nice deep bend into the knees. Allow the belly to meet the thighs. So if that does mean taking a slightly deeper bend, then that is where we go. We're not trying to activate too much. This might be a nice bedtime practice just to start to wind down the nervous system. Just to move slowly for once.
From here, start to lower the sit bones all the way down towards the ground. Drop the hands behind you, drop to sit bones, and then lengthen the legs out ahead. So here, if you've got your cushions or you've got your bolster, you're going to bring your bolster with you and you're just going to put it horizontally across the thighs. You might even have some extra blocks either side, just as a little support, or some books, anything similar. Choose what height. I'm actually going to go a bit higher. And then from here, we're going to find our way to a forward fold or to our caterpillar pose. So starting to drape the weight forward, just allow the arms to hang over your cushion, hang over your bolster. Choosing the depth of this shape. I sometimes find that the longer you hold it for, sometimes the body asks for something new. So you can always drop the blocks, you can remove the bolster. But maybe we begin here to begin with and just start to sense into what this posture is asking. And as space opens up, maybe we start to adjust our props. And if the mind wanders, gently bring it back into this moment with a deep breath. I always think the most powerful tool for presence is a deep inhale. It's so simple but so easily forgotten. And it's a tool that we have with us always, whenever we need. It's a superpower that we can tap into if we've forgotten about it for a little while. It's so normal. Everything moves so quickly around us all the time that we can get swept up in busyness and hustle and work and responsibilities. But actually, the practice of stillness and slowness and breathing can be so, so powerful. It can change how we respond to the world around us. It can quite literally rewire our nervous system. It can smooth out the kinks in our emotions, the highs and lows. It can just start to soften the edges. It can bring so much peace and power and confidence to us as individuals. And with that, we can share that with other people. And starting to breathe into the back of your heart, the back of your lungs. And soften with your next exhale. Let's slowly start to lift up and away from our props. I'm just going to put it to one side. And arriving to a neutral spine when you get there. Bring the hands behind you, the fingertips face away. Just take a moment to lift the heart. Gentle back bend here. You can stay here as a moment to rebound. Otherwise, you can bring the soles of the feet together and take it into a momentary tabletop as you inhale. Might feel quite nice after a deep forward fold. Exhale. Let's just pause for one more. And as you exhale, start to scoop the bottom back, land back down towards the floor. Thread the left foot underneath you and start to cross the right leg over top. Let's take a seated twist. Feed the left arm up, twist the chest towards the right, and exhale, starting to send your gaze just past the space behind you. But I actually invite you to maybe close the eyes here or keep the gaze downwards towards the floor. Seeing as this is quite a low energy, passive practice, let's keep the energy there till the very end. Maybe you're practicing this before you wind down for your evening or go to sleep. So try not to wake the body up too much. Taking a deep inhale and exhale. Slowly start to de-rotate over towards the left and just take a moment to actually pause in your de-rotation. So walking the hands forward, dropping to forearms, maybe relaxing the head down towards the ground. We often rush these little de-rotations. Let's just take a moment to see how it feels to pause here. On your next in-breath, start to lift back onto the hands. Travel back in space, unravel the legs, separate them apart, and then we're going to cross left over right for our next seated twist. Lift the right arm high, inhale. Exhale, twisting towards the left, keeping your gaze low, or the eyes can flutter closed. Noticing where the chin lands here. So trying not to pull the chin towards that left shoulder, finding a space in between that breathes into a little point of tension but no pain. Somewhere that needs a bit of attention. Maybe that means dropping the chin a little closer towards collarbones. Maybe there's a gentle rotation of the head. Pausing for one more breath. And exhale fully. De-rotate over towards the right and pausing in our de-rotation, travel forward, land to forearms, land to a cushion. Relax the back of the neck, head is heavy. Maybe there's a few swings of the head left to right. And on your next breath, pressing back into the hands, traveling back through center. Let's unravel the legs again. Take an inhale. Land the soles of the feet, shuffle the sit bones towards the heels. Drop onto your forearms and slowly release all the way towards your back body. Draw the knees in towards center, forehead towards knees. And as you exhale, bring the soles of the feet together. Take a Supta Baddha Konasana. And from here, just take the arms wide. Take up space. Maybe they extend overhead, or maybe there's connection to lower belly. And you can close here if this feels good. Or you can extend your legs to a Shavasana. Notice where it is your body takes you from this moment. I'm going to close in a Supta Baddha Konasana because it is just the best. Can you relax the glutes? Can you relax the front and the backs of the legs? Into the lower legs, the feet and the toes. Can you allow the belly to soften just a little bit more? Letting go of breath and just allowing the breath to return to its natural formula. Can you release and relax the spaces between the ribs? Into the chest, into the heart. Allow the arms to be heavy all the way from the tips of the shoulders into the farthest point of the fingers. Notice if the tongue is curling up towards the roof of the mouth. Can you soften? Can the jaw soften? Can the cheeks soften?
and the forehead and the corners of the eyes all soften together. Allow the backs of the ears to soften. And the weight of the body as it makes contact with the earth beneath you start to melt into one. And if you are in no hurry, please, I invite you to stay for a little longer. Find your way out of your Shavasana whenever you're ready. Otherwise, if you're ready to close, dropping onto one side, maybe one thigh connects onto the other. Simply rolling without disturbing yourself too much from your Shavasana. Keeping eyes closed as you steadily make your way back up to your comfortable seat. Let's bring one hand on top of the heart, followed by the other. Taking a moment to breathe into the heart center of the body. And flushing, washing light and breath and intention into this space. Bringing hands to meet at prayer heart center. Pressing thumbs into sternum, a gentle lift through the back of the neck. And lifting prayer to third eye space, sitting between the brows. May your practice bring you home, everyone. I so loved sharing this practice with you today and guiding you as always. And I hope to see you here sometime soon. Take it easy and lots of love.